Hello, this is Encounters with Life. I'm Sean Abigail, your host. Well, we are a couple weeks into the election cycle here in Canada, and the question has to be raised, are the Conservatives in trouble? Before Trudeau resigned, it looked like a complete blowout for the Conservatives. It looked like the Conservatives would get the most massive majority in Canadian history. And then along comes Mark Carney, and all that has changed. So, are the Conservatives in trouble? And the answer is yes, but it's not hopeless for them. I'll explain at the end of the video why I think there is hope. But for now, let's look at some of the polling numbers. I'm going to look at Nick Nanos. A lot of people criticize the pollsters, say, oh, you can't trust the pollsters, you can't trust the pollsters. I think most of them are quite honest. Nick Nanos is someone that I do look up to, and so I'm going to look at his numbers right now. All right, so Liberals at 43.4%, down 2.4%. That's good news for the Conservatives. The Conservatives at 37.0%. That means that the Liberals are still in majority territory. So that is bad news for the Conservatives. And the NDP are in the process of getting wiped out. I think Jagmeet Singh's job is on the line. He's going to be fired right after this election cycle, because instead of being in the 15 to 20% where they usually poll, they're right now at 8.2%. This is the lowest that they've been in years. And you can see that support is bleeding away from the NDP, and it is going to the Liberals. The other parties, they are where they are. But this shows right now that there is a problem for the Conservatives. It's looking like a Liberal majority. Now, what does Warren Kinsella say about this? Warren is one of the sharpest minds in Canadian politics, and he has raised the concern that the Liberals have peaked too early. That, yeah, they're way up, but they have nowhere to go but down. All right, let's drill down a little bit and look at the ballot by age. I'm not going to get into the gender thing. Women tend to vote to the left, men tend to vote to the right. We all know that. But here's something interesting. Unheard of is that the Conservatives are doing really well among young people. And why wouldn't they? Because the Conservative message has been, okay, young people need housing. Young people have concerns. How are they going to start life? How are they going to launch? We care about that. And that's been the Conservative message. And I think it's been resonating with young voters. But the boomers are absolutely turning to the Liberals. And so you can see that they're at 54.7% among the 55 plus. Hey, what's wrong with you 55 pluses? What's wrong with you boomers? Come on. More of the same is not going to cut it, in my humble opinion. The economic destruction that we've seen in Canada, the decade of lost growth, it's just going to be more of the same with Mark Carney. That's my opinion. But I would say that the Conservatives are in trouble. Now, some have said that the Conservatives need to do something different. That instead of having a balanced campaign talking about a wide range of issues that are of concern to Canadians, they need to go anti-Trump 7 by 24. And I don't know. Certainly that would not help Canada as a whole, because I think Trump has a bit of a thin skin. And I think that if we just go 7 by 24 against Trump, he's going to notice it and we're going to pay the price for it. But it sure looks like a good way to win a Canadian election, because Canadians have had it. Canadians at the moment don't care how much it hurts, just as long as we can have our 2 minutes of hate against Donald Trump. Okay. Why do I think that there's still a hope for the Conservatives, that they might pull off a minority government or even a majority government? We could go into all the things with Mark Carney's past, all the things that he's done as a business leader, his personal finance, and so on. There's a lot of stuff there that I think is not really getting exposed the way it could be. But other than that, I would say that what we're seeing right now in the polls and what we're seeing right now in the crowds at the rallies is something very different. Mark Carney seems to be having a hard time getting a whole lot of energy. And Pierre Poilievre, his rallies are something to behold. They are stuff. There's people waiting out in the rain, in the crowds, thousands showing up. filling the venues, and it's gotten to the point where you can look at this ad that the Liberal Party posted on X. Poilievre is obsessed with crowd sizes. Who does that remind you of? Ooh, Pierre is like Trump in that he's a politician who likes crowds. Come on, guys, give it a break. But you know what? If the Liberal Party is posting these messages about, ooh, crowd sizes don't matter, you can bet that they believe the crowd sizes do matter. You can bet that somebody within the Liberal Party is concerned about this. And just on the next graphic here, this is looking at Penticton. Yeah, hundreds of cars and motorcycles lined up, people having to park blocks away in order to get to the venue. People are enthusiastic about Pierre's rallies. So there's something different happening here. Like it's hard to explain. Like the polls are leaning one way, but the rallies are leaning another way. So I think there is hope for the Conservatives. Excuse me, I'm not feeling well. The other thing is, and this is highly unscientific, and it is only true about the ridings that I'm aware of, but when I take a drive through multiple ridings in Ottawa, I see a lot more Conservative signs than I do Liberal signs. Could differ in your region, in your ridings, but I see a lot of Conservative signs and not nearly as many Liberal signs. And one of those ridings is Mark Carney's own riding here in Nepean. So I just don't know. Is there cause for hope? I believe there is. Am I off base? I could be. Let me know what you think. I love to read your comments. If you think that I'm right, if you think that the Conservatives have a hope, or if you think that I'm completely off base and the Conservatives have no hope, let me know. Also, please subscribe to the channel. The channel's still growing, and I'm still really, really enthusiastic every time I get a new subscriber. So you make a difference. And one last thing, make sure you get out to vote. I'm Sean Abigail. That's Encounters with Life.